Good day, and I love you. Welcome to the Daily Dose, your daily dose of well-being for May 23rd, 2018. I'm Heather Peterson, Lockhart. I'm the Chieftess. I'm a well-being coach, and Monday through Friday, I meditate on current events, today's astrology, quantum physics, and our biology. And with my intuitive understanding, I give you how that presents for us, inside us and outside around us, and how we can best show up to take care of our minds, our bodies, and our spirits. And then I put some skin on it. I let you know how these dynamics are presenting in my life today and how I'm showing up to take care of me and mine. So we're rolling. Today I want to talk to you about Uranus. Uranus, just a couple weeks ago, Uranus came into Taurus for the first time since 1935. And Uranus is the rebel, the interrupter, freedom from the known, exposes, just the last thing you thought could happen, unpredictability, just complete and total game changer, right? Last time Uranus was here, it was 1935 and 34 into 35. And then before that was, I think, 1854, 1857. In the 1800s, we had the Industrial Revolution, and then in the 1900s, we were beginning World War II with Hitler starting a 12-year reign at that time. So this is monumental in history, and for those that are intuitive and doing the inner work, we felt the shift. It's quite intense, isn't it? It's definitely a different energy. It's palpable, So for me, it is very useful to find out what that means for me, what that means for the collective. And the reason I share this with you today, the reason I share any of this astrology stuff is because for me, when I feel like I'm getting my butt kicked, if I just have some really rough dynamics on my plate, or I'm really having to step into my power in a way that's uncomfortable, or any of those type of things, excuse me, it's useful for me to find out what's going on in my life in astrology, what's going on is personally for me and on the collective level, because if I'm able to shine a light on what's going on there, then I can pay attention and say, oh, instead of looking at this like a punishing, I can look at this like a learning. I can say, this could be this, and I could pay attention to this. So not only does it give me the opportunity to reframe what's happening to me, but it helps me to hone in on certain aspects that I can really pay attention to and create some growth and positive outcomes in my life. So Uranus coming into Taurus will be exposing things and changing life as we know it for the collective. Now, on the individual level, it will shift things very strongly. I shift things very strongly. That's funny. It's going to turn stuff upside down in a specific area of each of our lives. And that specific area is relative to where Uranus was in our astrological natal chart. When each of us were born, everything was in this one certain spot. Like at that moment you were born and they recorded on your birth certificate, the sun was in a certain spot, the moon was in a certain spot, Jupiter was here, Mars was there, whatever. And because of astrologers recording all this information, we can capture that cosmic signature, and it's your astrological natal chart, your birth chart. And so by looking at that birth chart, you can tell in what zodiac house Uranus was present in. Now, the zodiac houses each have certain characteristics. They deal with a certain part of your life. Like maybe one is your career, and another is your romance, and another is your ambition, another is your identification with society, how you're seen by society and how you perceive society. Each of these has different aspects unique to it. So depending on where Uranus is present in your natal chart, I always want to say natal birth chart, which is totally redundant. That's why I'm like going so slow. Depending on where Uranus is present in your chart, you can check that out, and then you can hone in on, oh, this is what this means for me. So I'm having a real shift in this area, right? So you can go to free plug cafeastrology.com and plug in your information. And that site is really cool because not only does it give you the chart, but it gives you like a whole printout of some of the major aspects that are unique to you and your chart, and how those translate into like what that looks like in your life. And this might be this is this part of your personality, and this might present like that. And that's really cool because it really breaks it down for you. So then, based on where Uranus is in which zodiac house, you can just Google what are the aspects relative to that zodiac house in astrology, and then it'll give you a rundown, right? So I'm going to tell you what this looks like in my life today. When I was little, I just had a degree of understanding that I knew most others didn't have. I understood the laws like the laws of physics, the laws of this planet, although I couldn't articulate that until just actually a couple of years ago. You just know what you know what you know. You don't know someone else doesn't know it until you have cause to learn that. Do you know what I mean? So I have a beautiful way of learning. I learn intuitively, which is very difficult to understand because I don't exactly understand it. I just know when it's going on. And as I continue to develop it, I learn to pay more attention and to develop the process and the system in which I learn. But I also knew that wasn't exactly an everyday thing. And so when I would have an intuitive understanding of a situation where maybe as a child, where like maybe some adults were talking and I would like call bullshit on the situation, not to be a jerk, but because I would have a intuitive understanding of what was going on, and that wasn't reflected in the words being used. That's a really good way to say that. I really like that. So, and I would call it out, and that wasn't received well by those adults at that time. And I was little. I didn't know how to spit that stuff out, right? So anyway, I put that whole learning process where I subtly learned information. I learned a lot of information. I learned information that I didn't know how to articulate to others, nor who to talk to about it. And then I put that part of me away for a long time when I escaped life on drugs and alcohol. And then that part resurfaced when I was sober. Well, after a bit of sobriety, well, that part of me immediately. But as my sobriety continued, I was able to develop and hone this skill of mine, this way of learning, and I receive much information, and I digest and distill much information, and I try to break things down into a way that I used to say to my kids when they were little, I will always tell you in a way that you can understand. And until you can understand, I won't tell you. And I've been there, but a huge part of it for me is that much of the information I learn is completely different than anything I've ever been taught, and completely different than what is readily accepted in front of my face each and every day. And so it's been very difficult to speak my truth and to share and to I've had to do much growing and healing in order to feel safe and ready to share. So so I've been in that process for a long time where I have just felt I've been in battle with the society I'm presented with and the truth inside my soul, and those two have never lined up. And I've always been at odds there. And I have bucked up against the system, the systems, in multiple aspects ever since I can remember, right? So there you have it, right? That's the sum up. Now, Uranus is present in my 10th house. That's the house of social status, your career grouping, society as a whole, how I relate to society, how society sees me. My role in the community, any promotions, fame, I have it written down, how we see ourselves and how the community sees us, I already said that, the relationship to the individual and the group, government, any kind of ruling, how we are ruled and how we rule others. And in this house, there would have to be genuine kinship and real soul identification with a cause in order to get on board enough to change it. And then this house is ruled by Capricorn, and I am a Capricorn, and it is ruled by Saturn, which is my ruling planet. So here we have the rebel, the interrupter, the one that is going to shine the light on some things and expose some things, and doesn't care if everybody's ready for it or if it's the status quo, right? At all. And that's where I've been my whole life. And yet I've been like really wanting everyone to like me and really wanting everyone to receive me well and really wanting to just be that pretty girl that is just pretty and everyone likes her and it's all good. Because as I've often said, you know, we each say we want to be unique, and we are unique. Each of us is. But we each say we want to be unique in a way that somebody else has already made cool. Very few of us want to truly present ideas to a a crowd full of gaping jawed individuals. It's not comfortable. It's not fun. It's not fun to be met with cognitive dissonance and fear when you present information that people are just not ready to greet yet. So here, I feel like I have done enough work to begin sharing and speaking and writing, and so it's not coincidental that it's right as Uranus comes into Taurus, and this is the part of me that is activated, so to speak. This is the part of me that's under major overhaul. Right? So if you put that all together, I mean, it's funny, isn't it? It's like, wow, divine appointment. So, as each of us is. So that's why I share this knowledge, because it's so cool to be able to do this for yourself and then to look and see and say, oh, wow, maybe that's why, you know, because if we're in an overhaul situation, it's fairly safe to assume that many of us are, at least to a degree, uncomfortable, because that's major change. And I know very few people that are like, whoa, the sky is falling! And they're like, you know, singing and dancing about it. Most people are running around and trying to scramble and hold on to everything and cover their head and get safe, right? Freaking out. So if you can get your chart and hone in on what area of you is being honed in on, then you can give yourself some insight and the opportunity for phenomenal growth. So that's what I have for you today. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for tuning in. And if you would like for me to take a look at your life and help you to see and allow you to feel, where we can move into some solutions so you can accomplish your goals and live the life of your desires, I would be grateful to do so. Go to www.thechieftess.com and purchase a consultation, and we will do that. We'll get together and make it work. So I will see you tomorrow. Thanks so much for your time today. I love you.